Welcome to Got a Sketch and Chat, and today we're going to be doing a little trio of gloomies here. And we have our pencil over handy, and of course our retractable eraser. There we go. Gotta line all this up. A lot of new stuff today. Of course our multi-liners. We're going to be using those a little bit of a different way today, you'll see. And new today is going to be our watercolor pencils. These are just some Prismacolor ones, a nice little 24 set. And then I have a mixed bag of those. And then our Inktense watercolor pencils, and they're a little different. They kind of behave more like ink when they're wet and then they set. They're very nice and bright. And of course we're going to need a few little paint brushes there. I really like the tiny little ones and a medium one there. An eraser, of course. And our alcohol-based markers. We got a Copic that just won't focus. I don't know about those. A Touchfive alcohol marker. Another Copic there. And then a few kind of off-brand ones and some more Copics. And there we go. So we're going to start off with our pencil sketch outline here. And I kind of work roughly from the rough sketch you see at the very beginning there. And we're just kind of laying in our details. For these drawings I try to work from right to left since I am left-handed to try not to cover up so much of my work as I go along. So hopefully you can see my pen work as I go along here. And we're just kind of sketching out our little guy's body here. Nice and quick. These Goomies are pretty quick to draw. And you don't have to worry because they're so gooey. Kind of make them out like jello. This little guy here, he's kind of got a little bit of a melty form. Each one of these guys is going to look a little different. This guy's, he's going to be a little more firmer there. Get his little cheeks in. I'm going to erase it and balance them out. They don't need to be perfect. Get his little mouth in. Get those little horn antennae in. Then the Pokédex apparently says they use those to sense around. So I want to try to get them roughly the same size. And we'll lay down our quick groundwork. And get that pencil dust out of the way and erase some marks. And we're going to add some of these happy little berries for the background. And our other bush over here. I really like putting in background for some of these drawings. I'm not going to do it every time, but sometimes you just got to go all out. We're going to put some tall grass, some background trees, just like in the game where there's some grass and there's some really high grass. We're going to have a few little layers here. And we're going to get right into penning. So our Goomies are going to kind of come right out with the thicker line, and then everything else is going to be a much thinner line. Because we want these guys to really stand out, we're going to use a nice clean, thick line here. And pretty quick work of all this. And I think all the work is going to be put into coloring. This is going to take probably quite a bit of time to color it all in, but that's okay. If you gotta change batteries, you gotta change batteries. Get those little eyes and cheeks in. And we get to erase. Lots of erasing. Clean it up and see if there's anything we need to go back over. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to come in with a really thin pen for this background because I don't want the line work to be quite as strong. I want the colors to stand out more. Even though I personally really like nice strong lines, we're going to try to have the multi-liner fade back in that background. Just going to put in our various layers of grass. You just kind of have the little outline so as I color it in, I know where everything goes. And as we work with the Inktense color pencils, these little inking lines, they'll kind of fade out and all the color will pop out. Yeah, we just keep going in and getting all those layers of grass in. There we go. And over there, two on the left. And some of those background trees. And let's erase, 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 erase. These erasers are really good, but they're very messy. And I almost forgot to draw in those berries there. That's okay. Got them all in. And we get that all. And there we go. We got a pretty good line drawing here. And let's go in with our ink color pencils here. And you're gonna find that I'm gonna be pulling these colors downwards and upwards. So we're just kind of doing the line work, and then we're gonna be doing a lot of it with the actual paintbrush, the coloring in of areas, and you'll see that soon enough. But this part is very tedious. Let's explore a few different colors. I think we're gonna just keep going with that spring green color. And then we'll go with darker colors in the background. And if you make a mistake with the color watercolor pencils, you can like blend a lot of it away. So don't worry about making mistakes with those. When all those fails, you can pretty much blend it all away and you don't really notice it. Just be a secret between you and me. And there we go. And we're just gonna be doing our line work. We kind of have like a little story going on with these little guys here. And maybe we might revisit the story in another drawing. So it can be whatever you want it to be. And just laying in more colors with those various types of watercolor pencils. You'll find that it looks dull, but once we add a little bit of water with that paintbrush, those oranges and reds are really going to pop out. And you're going to see with this. And we're just pulling the colors. Very nice and very clean here. I really like these colors. The only bad thing is while this paper is really high quality, it does buckle a little bit under the water. Ideally, I probably should have done this with a big palette of watercolor paper. But the water doesn't soak through. It just kind of has a little bit of a ripple effect, and that's alright. I think if this was like anything that was going to be hung on the wall, we'd want to go with a much heavier paper. But as far as the paper behaving while being painted, it's perfectly fine, especially for a fun little drawing like this. And we just keep adding a little bit of water and going back over and pulling our colors there and about. Yeah. Here we go. I'm getting those grass and the bark on the trees. And you just kind of work from area to area, letting some areas dry out before you revisit it. It's quite tedious work to go on with these watercolor pencils, but it's worth it. Let me get that tree back there. And I remember when I caught one of these guys and evolved him all the way to a Gudra. They're a pretty good Pokemon. I really liked him in my team. Get that background. And see how those colors really pop out? Just like I said they would. Very intense. There we go. And we're going to slide that paper just to make sure we're not going to mess up too much of the paper underneath. What's the little shield there? And we're going to get those background trees. Kind of more of an olive green there. And we're going back to that spring green and how it really pops out. The one thing is you gotta work with that medium while it's still wet, because once it dries and you can't move it around anymore. You don't get much play. So you gotta work really quick with it. You can really see that those pen lines that I did earlier have really faded out, and the colors standing tall there, looking good. And there's some of our normal color pencils here, well, our watercolors. We're just kind of getting an idea of the colors of our little Goomies here. A bit of a darker purple, or like a lavender. And we're not worried about precision coloring, because we're just going to come in with the paintbrush and blend it all. Just a touch of water. And we're not even worried about blending that perfectly, because we can come back in with the alcohol markers and blend it further. Yeah, I think it would be fun just to do a full drawing and nothing but the color pencils. But we're kind of doing a mixed media today. Kind of get a softer feel with those. There we go. And we're going to let those areas dry and see how shiny it gets. And get those little cheeks. Not quite the green I'm looking for, so we'll have to experiment with that a little bit. Get those grass blades to stand out a bit more. And we're going to fill it in. Our bark with a bit more here. There we go. Get those backgrounds. There we go. Got quite a bit more going on back here. But still not putting too many details in the background, because our Goomies are a really basic shape, so we have a lot going on, but it's not too complicated. There we go. And we can go back and blend them up and darken them up a bit so they really nicely stand out. We'll blend. And kind of make that grass pop just a touch more, a little groundwork there. Those kind of markers are pretty good. They're a real cheap buy. And they're a real strong color. So you gotta be a little sparing with them. And then we go in with that Copic. Can't really go wrong with a good Copic. They work pretty well here. And we're just filling in our areas. And fill in our little bushes here, nice and bright. Coloring them in and tiring out our hands all at the same time. But we can take breaks in between these, but I just really want to get this part done. Get that other guy in there. I just want to make sure we're moving that shielding paper back and forth to where it's needed. And there we go. We're kind of going to go a little crazy with the background trees. I don't really want to block it all out with one color. We're kind of going to go in with layers. I'm just going to kind of swirl it up here, and that's okay. I know some people would rather do it a different way, but I'm not too worried about the background. We're going to lay in a little more watercolor in here, just to kind of blend it up and fill it in a bit. Paint it up, color it in, and paint it up. Probably go back in with another alcohol marker and fill in those areas a bit more. Not quite what I want, but that's alright. And color that in as well. Yeah. No, not too much water. You just want a bit of water. Otherwise, you're going to pull your paper apart as you work on it. You don't want to overwork your paper. So it's a fine line. Make sure as you work with it, you give it little breaks here and there. You see it dries pretty quick. We're going to go back in and just add a little more color to our little guys over here. And that purple on the lower halves needs to be quite a bit darker, so we'll come in there. And there we go. And just kind of a quick fill in. And we're kind of nearing the end of here. We're almost done. So we just want to try to get it all pretty balanced here. A little bit more. Get our little eyes. There we go. Oh, and that Gloomy's a little tired there. Then we have those white areas that we're going to have to do something with. We're going to have to find the right color. So what you don't see is me rummaging around trying to find a good background green. And there we go. And it's always nice to have a paper key of all your colors just to find the right color. It's just a matter of finding where you put it down. Gonna fill it in with a little bit more of a darker green. We let the other areas rest. And we're going to fill it in with some more of that nice background green. And really layering it in kind of helps quite a bit. And then blending it up a bit. And there we go. So that was our little trio of Gloomy there. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please like and subscribe. And always feel free to leave a comment or a suggestion. I am always looking for a suggestion for what to draw next week, and I hope you guys enjoy. Have a good one!